I gained 10 pounds at home on a completely plant-based diet with the help of progressive overloading. In this video, I'll be showing you the workouts I did to help me build muscle at home, go over what it means to progressively overload your workouts, show you how you can progressively overload at home, and address the correct form for each workout to avoid injury and ensure you're working the desired muscle groups. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. So today is part 2 of my plant-based gain series. I'm going to be showing y'all how I gained 10 pounds at home by progressively overloading. Make sure you check out the first video where I talked about everything you need to do on the diet side in order to help you gain weight on a plant-based diet. That'll be useful even if you aren't on a plant-based diet and you're still looking to gain weight or build muscle. I'll link this video in the description box. So before I get into what it actually means to progressively overload, I do want to state that this is not going to be a workout with me type of video where you just watch it and do it with me. I'll be posting one of those the next week. This week I'm showing you all of the workouts and we're going over the form so that you do the workouts correctly, you avoid injury, and you know how to progressively overload each exercise because it's going to look different depending on what the exercise is. So what is progressive overloading? Progressive overloading is just the process of you progressively or over time adding more weight and or reps to your workouts to support the process of you building muscle or gaining weight. The heavier you lift, the bigger your muscles are going to be, and incorporating progressive increases in how much weight you lift or how many reps you do will help put you on a more clear course to building the muscle or gaining the weight that you desire to gain. So I'm going to be telling y'all exactly what I did in order to help me gain 10 pounds at home. Of course, there's other ways you can progressively overload, but this is exactly what I did. And I will be going over this again as I show you each workout so that you can put a visual to the words that I'm saying. When I first started working out, I was working out in 4-week cycles. As stated in my previous video when I talked about the diet aspect of helping you gain weight on a plant-based diet, I mentioned that I was working around an injury. So when I first started working out, I didn't have any weights. I was just using my own body weight. Wherever you start depends on where you are. If you're brand new, you've never worked out before, don't start with any weights. But if you're used to working out and you're just switching things up, just start really light and you'll overload progressively as we get going. So I started off with no weights. First week of my 4-week cycle. So we're at 0 pounds of weight. The first week I did 3 sets of 10 of each of my workouts, 0 pounds. The second week I did 2 sets of 10 and 1 set of 15, 0 pounds. So each week I increased my reps. And then once I got to the max of my reps that I was willing to do, then I would add weight. So week 1, 0 pounds, 3 sets of 10. Week 2, 2 sets of 10, 1 set of 15, 0 pounds. Week 3, 2 sets of 15, 1 set of 10, 0 pounds. In week 4, it was 3 sets of 15, 0 pounds. So that's one workout cycle for me and what I was doing. And then the second workout cycle, which at this point would be month 2, I would add a 3-pound weight. So then I would go back to 3 sets of 10 at 3 pounds. And then the second week, it would be 2 sets of 10, 1 set of 15, 3 pounds. Third week, 2 sets of 15, 1 set of 10, 3 pounds. Fourth week, 3 sets of 15 at 3 pounds, so on and so forth. So every month I was adding weight. At first I went from 3 to 5 to 8 to 10. However much you decide to jump is up to you and depending on what weights you have available. I would say jump 5 to 10 pounds every month, but ultimately every week you're going to increase your reps and stay at the same weight. And then every month you're going to be increasing your weight. And again, I will point this out as I'm showing you the workout so you can see how to progressively overload each exercise as it looks different depending on what the exercise is. Seeing as though I'm working out at home, I don't have 15,000 different weights of dumbbells to choose from. So going that route helped me to still overload progressively without having to buy a new weight every single week. In addition to the dumbbells, I also am using a resistance band and adjustable ankle weights that allow me to increase or decrease the weight I'm lifting each cycle. Now I'm going to show you the exercises and show you how to progressively overload each one of them using dumbbells, ankle weights, and a resistance band at home. So the very first exercise I did were clamshells. So I'm going to demonstrate. This is an exercise that you would do with a resistance band. I will put a link to where I got my resistance band from in the description box. So I'm putting this on. And you will lay like this on your side. Make sure your feet are parallel to each other. Make sure your core is engaged. You do not want your stomach to be like this. You want your core to be engaged, tighten, and you're just going to open and close your legs like a clamshell. So that's 1, 2, 3, so on. Notice I got my hand here to keep myself stable. My core is engaged, and I'm keeping the rest of my body still. My feet act as the anchor, so the only thing that's moving is my knee. I'm working the muscles. I'm not an anatomy person. I don't know the names of each muscle group, but here. So that's the exercise, clamshells. You will progressively overload this by 1, you could start off without a resistance band. 2, add in a resistance band. If you have an adjustable one, make it tighter. Or you could get you a dumbbell and rest it on your leg. The hand is only going to be there to ensure it doesn't fall. If you have like a long sock and you want to tie it, or you could even put it underneath the resistance band. Let's do that. Now you're adding more weight, and then you would, you gotta get creative since we at home, we don't have a whole bunch of weights. But that's how you progressively overload. So if you start with no weights, add the resistance band. If you have a resistance band that's adjustable, make it tighter. And then you could also add weights to the outer leg, and that would be how you progressively overload. And of course, do this on both sides. So 3 sets of 10, then 2 sets of 10, 1 to 15, 2 15, 1 10, 3 sets of 15, and then boom, up your weight. So the next exercise is glute bridges. We love a good glute bridge. So you want to lay on your back. What I do is I align the heels of my feet to both of my middle fingers to ensure that they're even. And you're going to lift your hips, but when you lift 1 vertebra of your spine at a time. So you don't want to do this. You don't want your spine to be curved. You need it to be flat. So you're going to lift 1 vertebra at a time and just push it up until you have a bridge. And then you're going to lower yourself 1 vertebra at a time until you get back down. That's 1. Lift up again. And then roll back down. That's 2. So you'll do that to progressively overload this. You could start, honestly, I would say to use a resistance band anyway, but if you don't have one already, it's cool. Just start without it. But to overload, you would add your resistance band. That could be an overload step in itself, because it does force you to keep your legs in a certain position. But after that, you'll want to start adding weight to your hips. So I take a weight and I put it on my hips. And again, my hands are not holding the weight at all. They're literally just there to ensure it does not fall. So honestly, sometimes I just hover my hands, or I'll hover my thumb like this. Your hips should be what's pushing this weight up, not your hands. So you'll add weight to your hips, and then you'll go through and do your exercise. So again, I like to cup mine so that I know I'm not putting any weight from my hands, it's just my hips. So then you'll lift. Make sure your core is tight, not loose like that. Engaged, flat. and then you lower back down. And that's your second exercise. Okay, so the next exercise is sideline leg abductions. So for this one, you're also gonna lay on your side. Engage your core. You don't want your stomach to be like caved in like that. You don't want your spine to be loose. It should be engaged, and you should be laying on the side of your body, not on your stomach. So you're laying on your side, head resting on your elbow. Put your hand right here to stabilize yourself. Just like the clamshells, your feet are going to be parallel to each other, and you're just going to lift your leg up, up, making sure that your toes are pointed in front of you. You're not doing like that. You're just lifting up like that. So to progressively overload this exercise, the first thing you would do is add a resistance band. So this is going to be slightly above your knees. Same format. And then you're going to lift. And that's going to cause you to push more to lift your legs than it did before you added the band. So that's adding resistance, which is going to help strengthen your muscles. And once you pass this point, you would add weights. This is where I use my ankle weight. So I have this adjustable 5-pound ankle weight that I got from Amazon. I'll link it in the description box. It has 5 1-pound sandbags in here that I can take in and out as I please. So first you would add 1-pound weight and then do that for your whole cycle. And then the next cycle you would do 2-pound weights and then 3 pounds and 4 pounds, so on and so forth until you get to 5 pounds. They also have a 10-pound one where each bag is about 2 pounds if you get to that point. But because it's already 5 pounds and I'm basically at this amount anyway, I'm gonna just go ahead and put one on. You would be putting on both at the same time so that you don't have to keep switching when you do both sides. But for demonstration purposes, I'm just gonna put this one. So you add that one, and then you come again. Core tight, stabilize myself. I'm laying on my side, not on my stomach, and I lift. That's 1. And I lift. That's 2. And you work in the side muscles. A little bit of, I don't know what this is, but this is like your side, leg, butt, thigh area. So these are sideline leg abductions, exercise 3. We're doing hamstring curls. So for hamstring curls, you're gonna come into a tabletop position, just like this. Again, your core is engaged, not loose, not lax like this. Your core is engaged. You're tightening your stomach muscles and your lower back. And then you're going to lift one leg up to where it's parallel to your hips. Let it out, curl. Let it out, curl. And again, keeping your spine, your lower back engaged. You're not doing like this. Your spine, your lower back is engaged, tight. Curl, curl. So you'll do that on each leg. And to progressively overload, of course, first we're going to add our resistance band. And then you're going to do it again. Make sure your leg is parallel to your hips. Curl, curl. And then after that, you will add your ankle weights. So 1 pound at a time, up until 5 pounds. You have the ability to adjust these. Again, I'll put these ankle weights that I bought in the description box. But you'll do this, and then do it again. Curl, curl. So the next exercise is sumo squats. So you may or may not be able to see my face, but ultimately you're doing a squat. but your legs are coming out a little bit wider. So what I like to do to make sure they're as even as possible, I'll just put my feet together like this and heel toe them out a couple of times. So I did about twice and slightly tilted them out a third time. And then you would squat. So for your sumo squats, you know, sumo, they be so your legs are going to be wider than a normal squat, but you're going to pulse your squats instead of just like that. You're going to pulse them to where you're just doing like this. Ground your heels down into the floor, and you'll feel it like towards the bottom cuff, the where your thigh and your butt meet. You'll feel it there. So you do your 3 sets of however many, and then to progressively overload with weight, you're just going to add dumbbells. We're not using resistance band this time. So you would just hold it here. You could hold it like this. You could hold it like this. If you want to do 2 pounds in each hand, you could do that too, or 2 weights each hand, you could do that too. But ultimately, you just add the weight, and then you're going to continue to squat. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's your 1 set. So our next exercise is elbow kickbacks. So here, you're going to kind of come to a plank, but keep your knees down like this. And you're going to spread out one of your legs because this leg is going to kick. So again, before we kick, make sure your core is engaged. You're not slouched or slacked like this. Core engaged. Push through both of your forearms and then kick. 1, kick 2, kick 3, so on and so forth. So to progressively overload this, we're adding our resistance band first. And then you do it with the resistance band. And then after that, you'll work your way up with each of your ankle weights. So start off with 1 pound, do a whole cycle of that, 2 pounds, whole cycle of that, 3 pounds, so on and so forth until you're doing it at 5 pounds on each leg. And again, when you're doing ankle weights with your progressive overloads, you're putting them on both feet. The other one is just in my room. I'm only using one for demonstration, but you would have these on both feet, so you don't have to keep taking it off, and it comes in the set. You have 2 ankles. But just to show, it'll look like this. Core engaged, not slouched, leg out, kick. 1, 2, 3, so on and so forth. So the last workout I did in this little exercise flow is planks. So I'll show you how I progressively overload my planks. So of course, we're gonna start off in a plank position. You're gonna come up, press through both your forearms and your feet. Keep your core tight, not slouched like this, tight, engaged. So first I did 30 seconds, took a break, and then up for 30 seconds. Then I started doing 45 seconds, take a little break, 15 seconds. Ultimately, you're planking for a minute, but the way you do it is going to change as you get stronger. So I started off with 30 seconds, mini break, 30 seconds. Then I did 45, mini break, 15. Then I just planked for a minute straight, just like this. So once that got easy to me, then I started doing plank up downs. So I went back to 30-30. So I would do 30 seconds, regular holding, take a mini break. With my last 30, I would do up downs. So I'm doing like this for 30 seconds straight. And again, not slouching like that. My core is engaged. Up downs like that. And then I did up downs for 45 seconds, held a regular plank for 15, until I got to the point where I was able to do up downs for 60 seconds straight. So now that you know what progressively overloading is, how you can progressively overload at home, and the exercises to do to help you gain weight at home, only thing left to do is to actually do them. Next week, I'll be posting a video where I go through this entire workout flow as though I'm actually working out and you're working out with me. Make sure you subscribe so you don't miss out. Hit the like button if you found this video helpful, and I'll see you on the mat next week.